And such as running a business. You've got to figure out what you're good at and figure out how to use other people to do what you're maybe not good at or what you don't like doing. And so here we're going to explain the fundamentals of tax and accounting for you and a little bit about just business knowledge. So a lot of people, bloggers in particular, wonder kind of when their blogging becomes a business, right? Like you've been doing this blog, maybe you've been doing it for a couple years and haven't really earned money yet, and then you start earning money and you're kind of like, should I report this now or shouldn't I? Does it matter? You know, so really, whether you like it or not, the IRS will treat your blog as a business pretty much as soon as you start making money. And as soon as really this switch kind of flips into you trying to make money from it. And so really you ask yourself, are you profitable? Are you bringing more money in than you're spending? And a lot of times for bloggers it takes a long time to really make money off of your blog. But the second kind of aspect of this is, am I engaging in activities in an attempt to make it profitable? Am I trying to increase my viewership, increase my exposure, my traffic? Am I reaching out to ad partners and affiliates to try and get commission? Of course, all in an attempt to make money off of this. And so in the end, the first couple years where you're not making money, it can be a real benefit to you to claim those expenses tax-wise. And so your blog really as a business can be valuable to you tax-wise, whereas a hobby, if you call it a hobby, then you can't really get any tax benefits. And so what are those? What am I talking about, right? So when you start a blog or any business, you end up spending a lot of money, right? You have to spend money to put these resources in place in order to produce money coming back to you. So when you spend more than you bring in, you've got deductions that create a loss. And that loss is typically reported on Schedule C of your personal tax return. And it just sits there as a negative number, reducing the amount of income that maybe your spouse makes from their W-2 job or from their business or whatever. And so it'll bring your overall income down and decrease your tax bill in the end. And so
there's really probably, if you wanted to, in layman's terms, there's probably two things that you picked up. Number one, it's good for you to spend money on your blog because the IRS will like it. So take that back to your spouse.
Right.
And number two is, this is probably, if you're not making money on your blog, but spending money on it with the intent that you will make money, this may be the only time you can actually beat the IRS and help yourself from a tax position. So.
True. Yeah, good points. So the thing to remember is that they won't let you do that year after year after year. That loss that you take after 3 years, if you've lost money 3 years in a row and you're deducting it and taking the loss, reducing your taxable income, after 3 years the IRS will come back and say, hey, okay, is this really a hobby? Because we notice you're not making any money here. And at that point, you can say, yes, look all these things I'm doing to try to make money. And if you can't prove that you're going to be profitable soon, or that you think you are, then they may prevent you from taking losses on that 4th or 5th year. So we've been talking about deductions, right? Deducting meaning expensing the money that you spend. What is deductible? And maybe specifically what's deductible for bloggers? before we get into the specifics, I want to just kind of lay out the principles for you. What the IRS rule says: to be deductible, a business expense must be both ordinary and necessary.